Hey, thank you for clicking on this video. We're going to have ourselves a 1980s Christmas party. Leave me in the comments below what your favorite Christmas present from the 80s was. Happy holidays or whatever you're celebrating. And of course, I hope you have a great week and a fantastic upcoming new year. Now, the drill was way back in the 80s is you would beg your parents, you want toys. I still want toys even now as an old man. And you would get the Sears catalog. And I would go upstairs with my number 2 pencil and circle everything I want. And of course, music was always been a big part of my life. So I'd have my stereo system and be blasting an 8-track tape. I tell you, AC/DC, Queen, Led Zeppelin, they were all on my playlist. But when I really wanted to get down into some serious thinking, there was only one band that really would do it for me, and that's the hottest band in the world, Kiss. Let's see if we can get some Kiss 8-track working, get ourselves in the mood.
I saw you coming out of school that day. I knew.
All right, we don't want to get sued by Gene or Paul, so that's good enough. You get the feel. So to accompany me, I have the 1981 and the 1983 Sears catalog Wishbook. I tell you, like I said, you would just sit up there and circle all the stuff. You'd open it up, and of course there'd be clothes. I don't know what to deal with this plaid and big collared shirts and brown. Brown was like all over in the 70s, and somehow it bled over until the early 80s. Disgusting. No one wants clothes for Christmas. Although you wouldn't mind, you know, I had some Incredible Hulk underoos. Underoos was pretty cool. The only thing I found fascinating in the clothes section was the Cheryl Teague stuff. Now, you know, being a little kid, you got your hormones running through you. You love the lingerie area of the Cheryl Teague. You skip past some of the clothes. We go a little slower during the Cheryl Teague's pages. And then you get back to the rear section is where the toys were. Christmas 1981, I'm 10 years old, 5th grade, having the time of my life as a young little man, circling the greatest toys ever. I just seen Cheap Trick. My first rock and roll concert was summer, August 1981. I was well into heavy metal and hard rock. I wasn't circling too much music selections. I wanted to buy my own music at that age, so I didn't want my parents buying me music. I wanted it to be exciting. So I'm pretty much circling toys at this point. 1981, the hot toys was Smurf. Used to have a ton of the little Smurf collectibles. Also in 81, Clash of the Titans. Didn't have any of the Clash of the Titans toys back then, but of course now I have a Clash of the Titans shelf. Recently accumulated some of those toys thanks to eBay and toy shows. It takes a lot of time to really circling the things that you want. You go to bed on Christmas Eve, and bam, it's Christmas! Let's see some of the stuff I've gotten in those 80s Christmases. Take this off because this jingling is going to drive me nuts. Got my Santa doll here that I've had since I was a little kid. Some of the things I've kept throughout the years. I'll tell you, so Christmas I would have opened something up. Been pretty damn happy to get a Cabbage Patch Kid. This was the big gift in 83. And I think, and this is Brett Shonsky. You can rename your Cabbage Patch Kids. Here's a picture of me with Brett Shonsky. Probably the year that I got him. That's actually a birthday party, my 13th birthday party. So that's 84, which tells me that Christmas 83 was when everyone, I mean, people were pretty much killing each other to get these stupid pieces of plastic and cloth, the Cabbage Patch dolls. And my parents came up short. No big deal. No hard feeling. It hasn't ruined me emotionally. But I did get it in 84 for my birthday in March. So I had to wait a few months. Cool Kids got this right off the bat. I had to wait a few months. Story of my life. I never got things I wanted right away. Builds character, they say. So this is Brett Shonsky. I almost put him on eBay, and then I felt like a bad parent. So like I said, I had that picture, had him ever since 1984. 2022. Somehow through the moves and through trials and tribulations of life, Brett is always stuck with me. So I guess when I die and get cremated, you're coming with me, Brett. Into the fire, buddy. We're going through this life together, beginning to end. Now, these Cabbage Patch dolls, they, I don't know how much they were originally coming out, maybe between $20 and $30. They are worth probably about the same. You can get something like this on eBay for $30 and up to $1,000 in the box, unopened certificate and all that kind of stuff. It all depends on which ones were a little more rare than the others. Another big gift, another big thing were the electronic games. There's a photo of some pinball machines. I had some pinball machine. There's a picture of me as a kid. I couldn't find it for this video, of me playing one of those electronic pinball machines. Love that kind of stuff. That entered into the more electronic toys that you wanted as a kid. One would be the PacMan, Tommytronic PacMan game. When this came out, it was $36.99, which in today's dollars, because of all the inflation, it's about 110 bucks. What can you get this for this on eBay? 60 bucks. So that's not too bad. Play some Pac-Man there. One of my other favorite games of the electronic, my favorite sport was hockey as a kid. Loved hockey. So head-to-head hockey. You had this. This is in the box. You can get this again on eBay in the box, anywhere from like 40 to 100 bucks. Way back then it was probably like 20 bucks. And kids today are so spoiled with video games, electronics. Back then it was pretty much dots. You were just one dot. You were a hockey player, but you were a dot passing the dot puck to another hockey player. A dot. So you just, it's a world that we love because we were just so happy that this video world could be brought home and we could play games at home. On another Christmas photo of me and my Steelers trash can growing up just outside of Chicago. Love Chicago Bears and love them Steelers. Jack Ham, Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, my favorite Lynn Swan. Oh, it's just an amazing team to watch. Some of the Super Bowls they won. So I was a big Steelers fan as a kid. Love the trash can. And those trash cans can go for a good penny on eBay nowadays too, as long as they're not too rusted or anything like that. Can't talk about the early 80s without mentioning Atari. Sears had a good thing with the Atari 2600. The Sears brand was a little cheaper. That's the thing I got. And I would open up my Christmas presents in those early 80s and see beautiful video games like Outlaw, my favorite in the arcade, and then the home version, Joust. A game that if I had the flu or chicken pox, any kind of thing that kept me home from school, those rare times that I would call in sick, it was all about Space Invaders. Atari 2600, Space Invaders, screen after screen after screen after screen. I would play it forever. Loved it. Asteroids, another one. And Missile Command. I can't even emphasize how big the Atari 2600 was when I was a kid. I remember Sears nearby Oak Brook, Illinois, my parents and me waiting in line because Pac-Man had come out. These games were usually about $20 each back then, which is about 65 bucks today. And priced on eBay, they're all over the place. If you just have the game, if you have the game with the packaging, you have the game and the packaging unopened. Certain games are worth more than others, obviously. And it was just a cultural event. I mean, I don't know what to compare to today. Like TikTok is big, like social media is big. But before all that, big stuff was like new electronics, new computers that were coming out. You know, games like Oregon Trail we play at school. And the Atari 2600, when they secured Pac-Man, and that was coming to you home video, you could play Pac-Man at home, mind-boggling. Mind-freaking-boggling. Early 80s had great games. Light Bright was really fun to do. Of course, when your parents weren't looking, you would spell words like boobs. You know, it was Light Bright was amazing. Operation, tons of board games, Little Green Army Men, just tons of great stuff to play with. Sears catalog, you'd look through. You know, the G.I. Joe, I wasn't too much into it, but a lot of kids were. I was more of a Star Wars person, which we're going to get to in a second. But another thing that I would love, open up, would be the Viewmasters. You gotta love the Viewmasters, the original Viewmaster here. This has been through hell and gone. You get a nice Viewmaster case, and you would just spend hours and hours staring up at whatever fluorescent light you had in your house, looking at things. Right when these things were handed to me, of course, the first thing I want to go, whoa, back to the pages where the Star Wars characters may be. 1980, you had your Empire Strikes Back. 1983, you had your Return of the Jedi. So you were looking at this catalog right here, the 1983 edition, circling every freaking Star Wars thing you could find, opening up, hoping you got something. And what did you get? You got a Wampa. A Wampa, the scary character from Empire Strikes Back, came out. And you finally could own the Wampa at home. It came out in this packaging here. The Wampa was $7.99 in the catalog. Today that equals about 24 bucks, which ain't bad, because on eBay This guy in his packaging can go about 80 to 100 bucks if you hold on to your Wampa. And that's the important thing, is condition. You know, those prices go up on eBay and what things are quote unquote worth by the great condition. If I can go back in time and tell myself, especially this picture right here, with those LJN wrestlers, Randy Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. Oh my God, you little dude, don't open them up and rip that packaging to shred. If you would keep them in the packaging, it would be worth hundreds instead of tens of dollars. But now when you're a kid back then, you just ripped it up. I did keep the posters inside those wrestling LJN figures from the 80s. I did keep those. I think they were about 85, 86. I did keep the posters. But you got your Randy Macho Man, you got your King Kong Bundy, Hulk Hogan. You ripped that stuff open. You tried to break those guys and make them fight each other. It's all about fighting when you're a little boy. Fighting and shooting. You grab a 2x4 outside from the wood pile behind the garage. You just shoot your friends. Different world, different world, different world. Today, I don't know. We probably need a little less violence in the world today. But back then, you grabbed that 2x4 and you were shooting all your friends. Different time. Different time. Another big Star Wars toy was the AT-AT, or as the uncool kids would say, the AT/AT. Nobody called it that. It was $46.49, which is about 138 bucks today, which is kind of what I did pay for it around today. A few years back, I got this beautiful AT-AT, which is the one of the cream of my Star Wars collection pie. What the hell does that mean? I was also into the Hot Wheels and train sets. We had a nice car track that a train track actually could go through and around the car track, so you'd have to race your cars to beat the train. That was always epic. And that, to me, is what toy collecting is all about, trying to get that feeling of childhood back. For me, it was those early 80s Christmases when I still had my dad around, I still had my favorite grandma around. Good times that will never be ever duplicated again. It just won't have, Christmas won't ever mean what it did to me in those early 80s. And that's kind of what toy collecting is. You just get little pieces of that back to kind of make your adult life livable, as they say. So I hope you had a little fun journey with me back to those early 80s Christmases, and thanks for watching.